Broadcasting live from upstate New York, a technology talk show that puts you and your questions first. It's Tech Talk Live.
Yeah! And it's Tech Talk Live here on International Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. I'm Flipper.
I'm Peter.
I'm Dave.
There you go. And we're a computer talk show, technology talk show, but today we're flipping the format just a touch, and we're going to be talking about Star Wars and tech about Star Wars. And we have a very special guest coming on in just 1 second here, Mr. Tim Lebbon, author of the book Star Wars, Dawn of the Jedi,
Into the Void.
And it comes out on May 7th. So why don't we pop right to him and we'll start talking with him. Tim, are you with us?
I'm here. Hi, guys.
Hi,
nice
how you doing?
Tim.
How you doing?
Great. It's great to have you on the show.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a real pleasure.
I'm going to pull up, which number was his picture? Right here's Mr. Tim, and he's on the phone with us, and you're from England.
I'm from South Wales, actually, but it's next to England, so that's pretty close.
I've never been a good geometry person. That's why I always say in a galaxy far, far away.
That covers all bases, really, doesn't it?
It does. And you have this book out, coming out May 7th.
Yeah, very exciting. It really should have been out today on May the 4th, shouldn't it?
Yeah,
Star Wars Day.
Absolutely.
But I'm told that in the US there's a Tuesday's New Book Day, apparently, so there we go.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
I only heard, I've had lots of books published over there, and I only heard that recently, so we all learned something, so that's good.
It's all good. I always thought it was a lag from overseas, but I oh well. So anyhow, who has the questions here? Oh, you got I got the questions too. So you want to start, David?
Sure.
You want to give him an introduction at all? I mean,
well, this is Mr. Tim Lebbon. He's an author of a laundry list of books. If you have not seen his website, I suggest you go. He's written Hellboy. He's written 30 Days of Night. He wrote the novelization of The Cabin in the Woods, which I was pretty jazzed about because I'm a big Joss Whedon fan, and he wrote the movie. So, let's see. Let's start off. Like I said, you have an impressive list of horror and dark fantasy books, but this is your first Star Wars novel. How hard was it to be accepted into the expanded universe?
Well, sickeningly easy. To be honest, I was they actually approached me to do a Star Wars novel, so it wasn't a case of me pitching an idea. I had a phone call from my agent one night and said, "Hey Tim, do you fancy doing Star Wars?" And it took me, as I've said in other interviews, about half a second to say, "Hell yes, I'll do it." A little while after that, before the detail of what I was going to be writing about actually came about. So when I first said yes, I didn't know what era I'd be writing in, or where in the Star Wars timeline. I just knew that Del Rey and Lucas Books wanted me to write a novel, so that's how it happened, really. And the editor at Lucas Books, Jennifer Heddle, I'd worked with previously on one of the Hellboy novels when she worked for another publisher. So I guess that's how she knew me from there. So it was good. That was a good day.
All right. Well, I find it amazing. I mean, you're actually now you've taken the, I don't know how long you have been, but you've taken the leap into becoming a full-time author, and this is what you do full-time. This is your employment, right?
Yeah, it is now. Yeah, probably for the last 6.5 years, I've been doing it full-time. Before that, I was part-time for 4 or 5 years and still working half a day job. So it was a gradual thing, and I was very lucky. I worked for the local council here, and they were very accommodating when I needed bit of time off here and there to finish a novel, they were good about it. So I was very lucky.
Great. Any tips or ideas to give people that might be out there that are authors that are working full time and trying to make the transition? Any type of tips or anything or advice?
Well, obvious stuff like work hard.
Right.
When I was working full time, and I had my first novels published when I was working full time. I'd be getting up at 5 a.m. and writing for 2 hours before work, and then in work I'd write lunch times and sometimes not lunch times. I must admit. Hope my boss isn't listening to this. Ex-boss. And then I'd come home and write in the evenings, and most of my annual leave from work I'd spend writing. So. A lot of hard work went into getting to the stage where I could say that I was doing it for a living and actually, earn enough money to be able to do it for a living. Work hard. I mean, I also, there's great value in rejection notes and rejection letters. I think you don't just throw them in the bin, stick them on your wall and learn from them. And enjoy what you're doing as well. I still love every minute of what I do, although it's hard work sometimes.
Great.
Yeah, Tim, this is Peter.
Hi, Peter.
I'm a technical writer for our county. I write grants, so I have an idea of how much effort goes into the writing. I guess my question is, when you were approached to write this, how much direction did Disney or LucasArts give you to what the plot of the story would be and what characters and then that, or were you given a lot of free rein?
I was given. The novel itself, as it stands now, is largely, it's my own work, it's my own story, my own characters. So I was given a lot of free rein. I was told we want a novel set in this time era at the same time as the comics, because it's a series of comics, Dawn of the Jedi, by John Ostrander and Jan Duursema. So they wanted a novel set that tied in with the Dawn of the Jedi comics, really, set at the same time. So I had to obviously research the world that John and Jan were, or the sort of time span they were setting up, what was going on in their comics. And there was a lot of, as I was coming up with the story, there was a lot of discussion. We had lots of Skype calls and conference calls with me, John, Jan, my editor, Frank Parisi at Del Rey, and the Dark Horse guys who published the comics, just to make sure I wasn't destroying a planet that they were going to use in the future. So, And the good thing about that is it was a really good process, and it was an relatively easy process. There weren't any major problems, but we also got to myself and the comic writers got to sort of plot about how we could cross-pollinate a little bit. And I like the fact that John's written a story featuring my character Lenore Brock, and some of the characters in the novel are their creations from the comics. So. There's a lot of crossover, but the story itself is pretty much standalone. Although anyone who's read the comics will recognize some of what happens in the novel and some of the places that my characters go to. So it was a really enjoyable experience. I did worry when I was asked to do Star Wars. I thought, well, there's so much being done already that am I going to be really restrained about what I can do? But because this novel is actually the first novel, earliest novel in the Star Wars timeline. I think there's probably about 150 novels, and this is the earliest. So I didn't have to research anything that came before, really, which was great.
Nice.
You want to go one? Dave?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I've been doing. This is Dave. Sorry.
Hi, Dave.
I've been doing a lot of research. I think the legal term might be internet stalking. I'm not sure, but.
Oh, you're the one.
Yes, that's me. I'm not within 1,000 feet, so it's all good. I read your bio. I read the synopsis. I've read other people's interviews of you. Well, first of all, this wasn't on our list of questions, but I read your training for an Ironman triathlon.
Absolutely. I've been out on a 4-hour bike ride and run today, actually. Yes, it's probably a good job this is an audio-only interview because I'm a bit sweaty and worn out. But yeah,
well, that's impressive because we're all about you were born in '69, so we're all about the same age, and
right, yeah.
I don't think I could last half of a triathlon right now. So that's very impressive.
You might think that I would have thought that 2 years ago, but it's a really progressive thing, and it's a bit of becomes a bit of a drug, actually, the exercise thing, and it's good fun, and it fits around my writing, and I find it helps my writing because I rest a lot easier now. I go to bed and sleep solid for 8 hours because I'm exhausted most of the time. But it's a good exhaustion, and I think, and also, when you're writing, you're sitting down. I'm not one of these writers that sits down for 8 hours writing. I'll sit down for half an hour, work, get up, make a cup of tea and coffee, and then do something else. But it's still 6 or 7 hours a day sat behind the keyboard. So I am conscious of that as well. And I think getting up and moving around and doing some exercise can only, feed the brain, really. It's all good.
So you really have a balance between mind, body, soul, and work. Really, is what you're kind of saying.
Do my best, yeah. I mean, I've got a young family as well, so they sort of have to slot in there somewhere. So, no, they're very good. They're very supportive. Actually, my wife and kids are quite behind me with it. So, yeah, it leads for a busy life, but enjoyable, making the most of things.
So, are the kids too young to get into Star Wars yet, or?
No, they're big fans. They love it. I've actually dedicated the book to my kids, Ellie and Dan. I called them for Ellie and Dan, my young Padawan. That was my dedication. So they're really pleased with that. And also, eagle-eyed readers might know that my main character, Lenore, that's an anagram of Eleanor, my daughter's name. And my bad guy, Dalian, that's Daniel, my son. So,
wow. You heard it here first on Tech Talk Live. Wow, that's pretty impressive. No.
He's actually, my boy's delighted that he's sort of the bad guy.
Well, I always gravitated toward Darth Vader, and so I can understand that.
It's not so obvious, though. I mean, I did go to, I was at a little convention a couple of weeks ago, and there was a family walking around, and they were calling after their son who kept running away, and his name was Anakin.
Really?
Yeah, that's real fandom, that is.
That is real fandom. So, you got this book out, it's coming out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
With the acquisition of, Disney acquiring Star Wars and the whole Lucas family, how do you see the future of potentially another book from you? Or, I mean, are they really kind of looking to continue the universe, or kind of their...
Well, I know that the comics are ongoing. I think they're just reaching the end of their second comic arc now, and it's the whole dawn of the Jedi era it's a massive. There's a massive story there to be told, and John and Jan are telling it in the comics, and I'd love the idea of continuing Lenore's adventures as well. All the time I was writing it, I realized I think my main character is quite a fascinating character. She's quite sort of conflicted and sort of ambiguous now and then. But I think she's got there's a lot more story to tell about her. So yeah, I'd love to write another one or two, maybe make it a trilogy, but I guess that's not my decision to make, but we'll see what happens. And I think the whole Disney thing's really exciting as well. First of all, we heard that there was going to be another trilogy, the films 7, 8, and 9, which is exciting enough, but they're going to be doing some standalone stuff as well. So, it could be that we'll see a Boba Fett movie, which would be just amazing. So,
yeah, that would be fun.
It's all good. You got to be positive about it, I think, and it's all. I'm really excited about it, and also with J.J. Abrams on board to direct the movie is. It's a bit of a it's an interesting thing that he's doing Star Trek and Star Wars. So, but that's I think he's an amazing director, and he's going to create a whole new group of fans for it as well. I think young kids nowadays,
right?
Because even the prequels were, what were they, 10 years ago now, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's a whole new group of people being introduced to Star Wars yet again, and I think it's great. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this month is 30 years for Return of the Jedi too.
Wow, is it really?
Yeah.
Well, it makes me feel old. I remember going to the cinema to see the original Star Wars when I was 8.
Yeah, I saw it at the drive-in, the Starscape, when in the beginning
Really?
it just kept going and going.
Yeah, I'll bet. That must be amazing. Yeah. And that's still, that's still a real definitive part of my childhood, watching that film. And when they released I remember when they released the director's cut, that must have been 10 or 12 years ago now. My wife and I went to the cinema to watch it again, and that opening scene where the Star Destroyer comes in above your head and just keeps on coming and coming, I had a massive smile on my face because that really took me back to my childhood. So
Yeah.
all good.
We're gonna have to have a private screening sometime and just have the Star Wars films, all 6 of them, just go right through them sometime.
Yeah, Star Wars weekend. That sounds good.
Yeah.
But what order would you watch them in? That's the interesting one. Would you watch them in story order or?
Oh, that is a big one.
I think I would go. I think personally, I think my thing would be is I would probably come back to the idea. Like I think we were talking the other day when I was doing the audio test with you was. Probably come back and probably just do it the way it should have been done in my mind, which would have been the prequels would have been first and worked their way up to, 4, 5, and 6, and then finish off, and then when 7, 8, 9, just watch them all right in a row and see how the story flows.
Yeah.
I think that would be my preference. Dave, what do you think?
Well, I saw a T-shirt that I have to agree with that said, "Episode 4 comes first. It's just good parenting."
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tim?
I'm with you. I'd probably watch, episode 1 first now, I think. But yeah, what a thought. In 5 or 6 years' time, you better watch films 1 to 9 over a weekend. That'll be a pretty amazing weekend.
Yeah.
Loads of popcorn for that one.
Yeah, 30 years of it.
As long as my wife is out of town. My wife is a Trekkie. I forgive her, but
Oh, really? Right. My wife's a bit of both, actually. It's good. She's a Star Wars fan. She enjoys a bit of Star Trek as well, so that's good. Works well.
What do you think, Peter? Which way would you watch them?
I think I'd watch 4 through 6 first. That's because I'm a purist, and so those are the main 3.
Well, that's it. I'm changing my thought on this. I think I'm going to randomly watch them. I'll just pick them. I'll pick a number.
roll a 6-sided die, and whichever
You got
comes
it.
up.
We'll go back to D&D. It's all good. So, Tim, out of the whole Star Wars universe, what is your favorite thing, weapon, character, force power, whatever, and just maybe talk about it for a second.
Oh, wow. I think my favorite weapon has got to be Chewie's crossbow, just because it's so cool.
The bowcaster, yes.
Yeah. And, I love that. Chewie's a great character as well. But I think the thing's always intrigued me the most is that huge, giant space slug that lives in the asteroid. And, and lives on what? I don't know. What does it eat? Spaceships. That's a real, something like that gave me a real sense of wonder when I was a kid. You saw this isn't a cave, and oh my God, it's a monster. I mean, what the hell does it eat? But it doesn't matter because it's so cool. Just takes a snap at the Falcon and misses and goes back in and hibernates again or whatever. That's you can imagine whoever came up with that just thought this is going to be such a cool idea and it's going to look so great.
Yeah.
Well, I remember one of the sites I was looking at the other night, they were talking about the original characters coming back for 7, I guess. Being
that
part
could
of
be
it.
interesting. Yeah.
And they had interviewed them, and they were talking about how silly they thought a lot of these ideas were until they actually got on screen and actually saw them, and then it was the wow factor after that point. You know? I mean, I can't imagine being in front of a green screen as Han Solo, Harrison Ford getting up there and posing with his blaster and kind of going hoda, and then you don't see what's going on, and it's got to sound and look funny,
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, sense of wonder. That's something that I remember feeling when I watched the first Star Wars film. Even the simple thing like the fact that the planet had 2 suns, Even that was, oh, wow, that's cool. Because most of it was something nobody had ever seen before, I think.
Right.
And that's why it's, people our age, it's like a definitive point in our childhood seeing that film.
Yeah.
So,
and the thought, that 8-year-old boy sat there watching that film didn't, for a second dream that he'd be writing a novel set in that universe. Mad.
Well, that brings me to another question that I've come up since. I understand you just got your books recently. I was reading that on your website, and can you tell us a little bit about how it felt and opening the cover and all that?
Oh, it's nice. They're beautiful objects. I mean, it's probably one of the nicest mainstream novels I've ever had published. Looks wise, it's so beautifully designed. The artwork's great. I've had lots of limited edition books done where there's like interior artwork and they're tray cased in leather bound cases and things. But yeah, it's a real object of beauty. And then the one I opened it and saw the line a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and had a little shiver. And it was whoa, wow, that's cool. And it's got my name on it as well. It's amazing. So it was a good feeling, yeah. And my kids were quite chuffed, I think, when they saw the dedication as well. So that's nice. So if my editor's listening, I've got to write a second book so that I can dedicate it to my wife, because she's, what? Just so
I can just see her in the back going, what?
So that's reason enough to write a second novel, surely.
Absolutely. I just want to say I really, really love that you're coming on the show here and talking about your book and so on and so forth. But I'd really love to know any future projects that you'd like to talk about. Maybe get out there to our listeners, or.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually just finishing off another tie-in novel to a franchise that I've been desperate to write a novel for years, and that's Alien. I've just written an Alien novel. So I'm really, really excited about that. Obviously slightly different from Star Wars, a bit darker, a bit gorier.
Another cool movie from our youth.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm really pleased with that. It's going to be one of 3 novels that Titan are publishing. The other writers are Christopher Golden and James A. Moore. So that's fun. And I've got a novel of my own out in the States early next year called Coldbrook, which is that's from Titan. That's a really sort of big scale apocalyptic zombie thriller.
Right up Peter's alley right there.
Yeah, there you go.
And this is the first one that's definitely written set in the States.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. It's I think it is the first novel I've set in the States.
Like I said, I've been stalking you.
Yeah, sounds like fun. That's good.
I didn't have time to stalk you. Sorry, I was trying, but.
Well, it's set in the States, but it's not only set on this Earth. It's a multiverse book. So I love destroying the Earth. I've done it lots, and I've counted how many people I've killed in my fiction, and it hits about 35 billion so far. But if you include Coldbrook, because it's a multiverse book, so there's endless amounts of Earths, endless numbers of Earths that have been overtaken by the zombie plague. I've probably killed almost an infinite number of people. There's not many writers that have done that. So
it's
that's
good to have a hobby.
Yeah, you got to do. Yeah, it's why I'm such a cheery bloke in real life. So that's out next year, and I'm writing another book for Titan. There's an ongoing theme here. I don't just write for Titan, but another book called The Silence, which is going to be out. That's not going to be out until 2015, but that's another big. It's another apocalyptic novel, but it's very different from Coldbrook. It's more sort of focused on one family, and they're sort of battling against a plague of creatures that hunt by sound. So if you make a sound, they hear you and they can track you down and eat you. So the cities fall first, and then it sort of becomes a fight for survival. But that's going to be a challenging one, because the main character's this deaf and dumb girl who's used to existing in a silent world. So that should be interesting. What else have I got? I'm always working on other stuff. I'm writing a thriller at the moment, which hasn't actually been sold yet, but I'm really enjoying doing something with that, a little bit different. A couple of screenplay things ticking over. I got a TV series in development with ABC Studios, which is based on a trilogy I've written called Toxic City.
I heard about those.
Yeah, 2 of those are out in the States now. The third one's out later this year. That's not from Titan. That's from Peer, publisher called Peer, or PYR. I've never known whether it's Peer or Pyre. I assume it's Peer. So yeah, lots of stuff ticking over, and then squeezing in Iron Man training in between.
Nice. You're a busy man. We're pretty much at the end of our interview. I mean, is there anything else you want to add, or?
Well, I've really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on. I hope I hope every single one of your listeners instantly goes and pre-orders the Star Wars book.
Right. Well, I think I'm
Absolutely.
going to pre-order it as soon as I get off to the races here and get my paycheck next week.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I really need to dedicate a second one to my wife. So
Definitely, I'm looking forward to that too. I mean, I'm really excited. I can't wait till Tuesday. I think I'm really going to go get it, and
cool. Thanks, guys.
it's just
Absolutely.
amazing. So, Mr. Tim Lebbon on the phone here, amazing author, and go check him out at www.timlebbon.com. Correct?
That's .net. Tim11.net. Yeah.
I always mix those up for some reason. I'm a technology guy. Go figure. Author of the book on screen, Star Wars: Dawn of the Jedi, Into the Void, which is based off the comic book series Dawn of the Jedi, right? Or in the universe of that. Go pre-order his book. Go check out his website. He's an amazing author. Has a slew of other things. I mean, David has a lot of stuff on him. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that later too. Mr. Tim, thank you for coming on the show.
It's been an honor. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, I got to switch everything around here. It's amazing trying to be a host and trying to run the show at the same time. All right, so you've been listening to Tech Talk Live. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to go back with Peter, Dave, and myself, and we're going to talk a lot of Star Wars stuff. And according to Peter and Dave, they wanted to take phone calls.
Did we say that?
Yes, we did say that, he said.
Oh, well, okay.
Okay, so anyway, so you're listening to Tech Talk, and I got a special round the tech in 60 seconds. I'm hoping JJ's out there listening and has a free app of the week that's based on Star Wars. We can still do the same format that we normally do really quick. And I got to find the right button to hit. So I'm Flipper.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Peter.
And we're on Tech Talk Live. And if you want to go check out the website, it's ttlny.com. If you want to give us a call, give us a shout at 315-220-0692 or shoot us an email, techtalkliveny@gmail.com. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Oh, look, it's still playing the video.
The Digital Babble colorful commentary on your digital photography. It's a show about critiques, guests, techniques, and reviews. Broadcast on FingerLakes1.tv every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Live demonstrations for photo editing and techniques. Reviews on all sorts of camera equipment and software. Find us on FingerLakes1.com and on Facebook. Tune into the Digital Babble with your host, Flipper.
Vicky's PC Repair, 585-489-5055. Did your PC go kablooey? Maybe your laptop is screwy? Then call Vicky's PC Repair, 585-489-5055. Need some computer training? Maybe your computer is old and failing? Then call Vicky's PC Repair, 585-489-5055. Ready to hammer your hard drive? Tech support got you waiting for days. Virus and worms and malware, oh my. Then call Vicky's PC Repair, 585-489-5055. Tell her Flipper sent you. Vicky's PC Repair, 585-489-5055.
Why Board Studios? You have something important to communicate. New products and ideas that could change the world. But how effective is a website if people don't get it within seconds? Bring your ideas to life with videos like the one you're watching. Just tell us what you want to communicate, and we'll come up with a video that will captivate your audience. And we do it a lot faster. It doesn't take months, and we do it a lot cheaper too. Try Board Studios today and see for yourself.
It's Tech Talk Live's product reviews. Are you looking for a great wireless optical mouse for your laptop, desktop, or gaming system? The Logitech M305 fits the bill. Go check it out at tiny.cc/TTLM001. The Acer Aspire V3771 is a great laptop. It comes with an Intel i3 processor, 6GB of RAM, 750GB hard drive, 17-inch screen, and Windows 8. Comes in at a great price point. Go check it out at tiny.cc/TTLA001. This has been a Tech Talk Live product review.
And we're back with Tech Talk Live here on May 4th. May 4th be with you. International Star Wars Day. Flipping the format. I love this. This is great. I love this song. I don't care what anybody says. That is just great, except for the only version I could find cuts off right there. So, because I think that's where the blaster fire came in episode 4, wasn't it?
No blasters, no blasters.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely amazing. So we got hecklers, from what I heard. We have to bring up how amazing everybody is. So
Yes.
I would just casually like to bring up how wonderful my wife is. I know she's might be listening. I don't know. I understand that we are live streaming in a barn in north of Phelps, where my brother-in-law Carl is listening, and apparently my in-laws are also listening in Florida. So you have a truly global show today.
about time. So, yes, Mr. Tim Lebbon, the interview with Mr. Tim Lebbon, I thought that one,
Oh, I was very happy with that.
that was amazing.
That was awesome.
Amazing. I really wanted to get his book. I looked at his website. I really found a lot of his stuff very amazing. So,
Yeah. His work is dark fantasy and horror, and this is like really, well, he's done a post-apocalyptic type stuff, but this is his first venture into just pure sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I'm dying to get it. I'm gonna go get it. I'm
Yeah,
definitely
me
running
too.
out and buying that book. So that's just amazing. So out of Star Wars universe, if you look in the behind David, you will see a set of armor that he had built himself, I believe. Right? It's all you, right?
that costume I think altogether cost me like $50.
Really?
Yep. The motocross chest piece, that's what that is. That was donated to me. The helmet was the only thing that actually cost money. And then I took like old army gear and whatnot and spliced it all together. His blaster pistol, which you really can't see, that's just a piece of PVC pipe and some stuff I just
Put together.
pretty much, yeah, built it from parts, and
Interesting.
I'm pretty happy about him.
And he scares the crap out of the kids all the time, doesn't he?
Oh, my wife, yeah, she'll come downstairs to do laundry because he stays downstairs in my domain, and yeah, she'll jump.
I've already jumped a couple times coming back in the room. That is funny. That's a great job, Dave. I got to tell you, that is amazing. Truly dedicated to the I mean, is it supposed to be just a particular someone, or is it a...
No, it's just my personal creation, Bounty Hunter. He's not a Mandalorian like Boba Fett or Jango. The helmet's the same, but the whole rest of the armor is unique to this one.
So, like, on screen right now, here's the Mandalorian armors, the true Mandalorian armors,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Kneeling in front on the viewer's right is a good representation of Boba Fett. And then standing in the far left is a good Jango Fett armor. These are cosplayers I just pulled off the internet. But as you can see, people have been building their own. And the Mandalorian style with the chest piece and the elongated hexagonal in the center and all that, that's true Mandalorian armor. What I did is just more of a, this is some guy in armor who found a Mando helmet and put it on.
It's all good. You did a great job. You did a great job, Dave. I gotta
it was a Halloween costume. That's all it was. So
yeah, but it's something, definitely put it in the Museum of Dave.
yeah, absolutely.
So
and for everybody who can read Aurebesh, which I'm assuming you guys can, it's the galactic standard language for the Empire and the Star Wars universe. Across the chest piece right there, it says David E. Smith.
very nice. You are definitely dedicated to the Star Wars universe.
Well, you said when you were planning the show, you were looking for some of the biggest sci-fi nerds you knew.
And I found him. I found him. Oh, I don't know. So what's your favorite movie, guys? I mean, which one do you think is
Well, I just rewatched 4 last night. I think every year May, because all the original movies came out in May.
Mm-hmm.
So, and May the 4th, obviously, which actually, that was a political thing. That did not start by sci-fi nerds.
really?
May 4th, 1979, Margaret Thatcher and the Conservative Party got elected to the prime ministership, and her party took out a half-page ad that said, "May the 4th be with you, congratulations, Maggie." So, yeah, it wasn't even a bunch of us goofy nerds in a basement that came up with May the 4th, and it was long before the internet.
Wow. Amazing, the history. Anything you would like to add? I mean, you're awful quiet over there, Peter.
No, I mean, I guess my favorite of the movies is Empire Strikes Back. I think it's an interesting movie in that first you get to see the Empire being the Empire. It's probably one of the funnier movies of the whole group. Lots of little details I just love to watch in there. So yeah, that's mine. And I'd like to also point out how wonderful my wife is. Before she calls in and yells at us.
I was a big fan of episode 1. I gotta admit, I kind of went with the new age.
Yeah.
So there was just something about Darth Maul. I mean, there's.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, he was a cool costume.
First time any type of Jedi or Sith ever had a dual wielding lightsaber. I mean, just totally sucked me in with the whole idea, I guess, you know?
Yeah, it's also, I like being able to see what Jedi were supposed to be like. I mean, because in the 4 through 6, we just see what's left. We just see Luke learning how to be a Jedi and Darth Vader being imposing. Mm-hmm. You know, but in the first movie, we get to see what Jedi are supposed to be like, where we get to see how much the droids are used throughout the galaxy as shock troopers and whatnot. I like that movie too, for those reasons.
So, okay, now here's always been a burning question in my mind, and I know as being a Star Wars fanatic that I am, I should know this answer, and I don't, okay? Is it that the clones, okay, basically just get modified and absorbed by the Empire and become the stormtroopers? Or are they actually droids?
Stormtroopers are people in armor. They started off as the clone troopers in the prequels. Yep. But they opened up recruitment as the droids. The clones died off. They didn't have more clones being built, and they were gradually just recruiting. So, like in Episode 4, Luke wants to go to the Academy. Mm-hmm. That's the Imperial Academy he's going to. So that was all part of the military machine. They
Right.
started off with this massive amount of clones, but the clones don't last forever, especially when you're fighting everybody in the galaxy. So,
Right. I was just wanting to make sure that I was right about that. I was just like, I remember reading about it, and I know one of the big things of contention is how many clones actually were made. There was like 1.2 million in one of the movies. It was basically stated that there was like 800,000 or 200,000 plus another million on the way during episode 2, 3. Must have been 3.
yeah.
And then someplace in between the movies, there was some other statement that was made in the Star Wars universe that another 2 million were on their way as well. So something like 3 million clone troopers. Now put that in perspective of a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
That's only like 0.00001% of your population. You ain't doing nothing with clones.
Well, I actually that's a picture I should have sent you, is one of the Star Wars galaxy, because it's more than what you would expect. Like our Milky Way galaxy, the amount of inhabited planets in the Star Wars, it's just crazy huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, little font type, pages and pages and pages. So
there's a story on every planet.
Yeah. They're referenced. I mean, they're at least talked about. Like Lando says in Empire. That was Empire.
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back.
Somebody must have told him about my maneuver at the Battle of Tanab. Well, before Tanab never existed, but now all of a sudden it's got its own Wikipedia entry, and there's all this stuff that's happened on Tanab. So,
it is amazing that Star Wars started off as a brainchild of George Lucas, and that brainchild, I think he had the vision, he saw the end result. But I don't think the people around him saw the end result until it actually got up on screen the first time.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people thought this was just going to be kooky and corny and so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden, whatever that first movie did to suck you in, which I think it was, I don't even think it was necessarily the effects. I think it was the storytelling. The storytelling of 4, 5, and 6 was absolutely amazing. 1, 2, and 3, 1 wasn't too bad, but still wasn't as good as it probably should have been, because I think 1, 2, and 3, everybody had all these effects and all this computer generation stuff and everything else, and they lost the story in with the noise of the effects.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's what really disappointed me with 1, 2, and 3. Even though I still love them, I mean, they're still Star Wars. I mean, oh my god,
I know there's haters out there, but if it's got the Star Wars logo and it's got a decent story at all,
yeah,
I'm a fan. Just like the new Disney movies that'll be coming out, I'm crazy optimistic about
2015, my friend. I'm dying to see some of these offspins too, because I mean, I'm gonna do around the tech in 60 seconds. Then we can talk about some of the news and stuff. And then, hey, if you got a phone call, you want to give us a call, talk about Star Wars, you want to just talk to us, I don't care. 315-220-0692. That'll get you right here in the studio. We'll get you live on the air, and you can ask questions or talk or whatever. So let's see. Let's see if I can do this right.
Now time for Round the Tech in 60 seconds.
All right, here we go. So, Abrams wants Williams for Star Wars. Looks like the music icon is back. He's going to be writing, the original author of the original music is going to be back writing the new music. Original actors casted for Star Wars Episode 7. Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia are back in all geriatric style. Where is Sai when we need an entrance song? Star Wars, The Clone Wars, nominated for 7 Daytime Emmy Awards. Time to get your clone on. New Star Wars film could arrive every summer. Starting in 2015, spin-offs could offset the long wait between movies by having spin-offs. MTV hires Wookiee, the Wookiee. In a hilarious video from MTV, our favorite Wookiee is Wookieing for MTV. MemoBot popular this year, celebrating May the 4th. MemoBots now have the Boba Fett and the Dent. The Empire to kibosh May 4th celebrations. Many videos have come out from Darth Vader and the Empire trying to kibosh it. I didn't get through the whole page. Grand Moff to hire blog writers to tell his story. The Grand Moff, disappointed in social media, has problematic connections online, is in the market for a blog writer to help him reconnect with his fans. 2 Jedi found in the gutter. 2 cosplayers started their celebration early and not only used the Force, but Force pushed themselves right into the gutter. There's Round the Tech in 60 seconds. Star Wars edition. All right, back to 3 wide here. I don't know. That seems pretty amazing. I like the idea of the off spins. I mean, I want an off spin of Yoda.
And I read a thing. Carrie Fisher has already started with a personal trainer and stuff to get ready to go back into the Leia mode.
Really?
Yeah.
There was something about Princess Leia.
Yes.
And I'm not even talking about the little bikini-clad Jabba the Hutt outfit. I'm just talking just in general, the whole, the 2 buns on the side of her head. I mean, just amazed me. And those things stayed still. No matter what happened, she could be getting shot at, running down the hall. Those things right there.
The miracle of Aquanet.
Yeah.
I bet you your wonderful, loving wife uses Aquanet, right?
She used to, yes.
Really?
Yep.
Well, that's the all right. So
I don't even know if you can get that anymore. It was big in the 80s, though. I remember that. Walk by the girls' bathroom in the high school, and it's just like a fog floating out.
Hang on a second. Let me find something here real quick. Keep talking.
Well,
as that fog comes out of the. The new Aquanet product. It will keep your hair in place no matter what blaster hits it.
Bringing order to your hair.
Okay, enough of that. So I don't know. I know you're pretty much you pretty much love the whole darker side of the Force. You like the Empire.
I love all Star Wars. Right now, or lately, especially anybody who is on my... Sorry about that, I'm not used to the camera. I've been a lot of dark side lately, and that's just based on I'm staying in role for a goofy, nerdy Starfleet Battles campaign I'm in.
Well, I don't know. Did anybody see your shirt? I don't think they saw your shirt. I didn't get a chance to finish my shirt and get that. Death Star tech support. Over to the. There you go.
There I am.
There you go. I thought that was amazing. When you told me you were ordering that, I tried to find a hat because I always liked the whole droid support thing. Have the alliance symbol, and I was going to do a droid support, have it all beat up and stuff. I was ready. I was literally ready to get it, but every time I tried to find somebody to do it, they wanted like $75 or $100 to try to
for a hat?
Yeah, for
Screen?
The embroidering.
Oh, yeah.
They have to redo all the embroidering and stuff, and it was just ridiculous. So, Peter, what side do you typically gravitate towards?
I also like the Empire. They're more interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the military style of the Empire and the desire to bring order to the galaxy and all that, and I just find it endlessly humorous too. The fact that blasters can't hit the broadside of a barn,
and stormtrooper armor can't stop anything.
Apparently not. Yeah, it's like not even mental armor at that point. Yeah. I mean, but you gotta admit the style that they picked, that Lucas picked, and his probably Dykstra and the special effects, just for the look of everything in the Empire. Huge, boxy, imposing, menacing, useless. But if it convinces people not to rebel, then fantastic. But the flaw of the bad design of this farm boy. Inexperienced farm boy can destroy a multi-quadrillion dollar facility in space twice.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with the Empire, but they're fun.
Yes, definitely.
At least they're trying.
Yeah. Yeah, they try.
I like the giant walkers, the AT-ATs.
Oh,
those are fantastic.
ATSTs, those are fun.
Yeah. Yep.
I think my favorite spaceship in Star Wars has got to be literally the cruiser, the one that has the big engines on the back, the Corinthian cruiser. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but the Princess Leia cruiser. And
the Tana 4. It's a Corellian Corvette.
Yeah. There you go. You know what? I played X-Wing versus Starfighter, I don't know, countless hours, and have seen these names millions of times. And, of course, I must be hitting that age where my brain starts going. I'm like, I can't remember what the heck they're called. Use the Force Flipper. Jedi mind trick getting me. So
I love the imposing Imperial Star Destroyer. I mean, it's built for intimidation because there's no way that could be practical or anything, but just this giant wedge coming at you.
Well, you know, that giant wedge, that giant wedge was actually an original design for a aircraft carrier for the U.S. military back in the 1970s.
Really?
Yeah. I found that.
I did not know that.
I found that the other night. I was like, wow, that is interesting. That was actually based on some weird design thing. I don't know if the author didn't know if it was actually true or not, but they found pictures of this, design, and then what George Lucas came up with, and it was fairly similar. I mean, it literally, the flight deck would be the top part of that wedge, and that you could literally launch 4 planes off of it by going up the sides and stuff. So
interesting.
Well, even a standard aircraft carrier has the side wing. I'm not Navy. I don't know the technical terms, but
right.
So it's half a wedge there. So
right. So it was quite interesting to see the design versus, what George Lucas came out with, and some type of correlation there, and they thought that somehow George Lucas might have saw that and said, that's the Imperial, and that might be true. I don't know. But I just thought that was very fascinating to see the two side by side. So I'm sure Dave wants to talk about, I think this. Nope, that's Tim Lebbon. Hang on, let me find. Okay, where'd I put it?
What am I talking about?
That.
Oh, R2. Yes. I've been talking to Phil a little bit, and I think Peter caught wind. I have a challenge of this year we have my armors behind me. Next year I would love to have an astromech droid. I don't have the technical know-how of Phil, and I know Peter's got quite the creativity from drama and other theater. So I think the three of us could put together, not necessarily an R2, but an astromech droid. I don't know how much you know about.
I've already begun researching the Adreno chip and how to program it to make the thing move and do things.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a walking, talking like Phil's vision, but at least something freestanding.
Well, you were talking about possibly getting one that could project movies up on the wall.
I thought that'd be cool. Take like computer tower and components and a projector, and then have it like my PC at my desk, like standing in front of it. And when I turn it on, it projects onto the wall. So that's my computer screen. I think that would be cool.
I found a projector that would fit inside that small little R2 thing, and we would just have to get two lenses just to bend it just a little bit. And you could literally have it just like R2 projecting up on the wall.
That would be so cool.
And the projector's only this big.
So that's my challenge.
Nice. Okay.
To you too. And, I'm sure we can rope other people with like minds.
I would love to see a community effort on this and actually come up with a full R2 walking, beeping.
I think that might be a little much for us in a year. I mean, that could be the eventual goal.
Okay, so maybe the first year we make you an ashtray. Okay, we get you the ashtray, and then we worry about the rest of it.
You could build the casing, right? Yeah. And then in the back you could have an opening that a plate they could remove, and then you could add components as we figure out how to stuff them in there.
I even have all the different sounds.
See?
Nice.
I forgot how many there was. There's probably 30 seconds of it.
That's awesome.
And when we get done, I'm going to christen it. I'm going to put my hand on top of it and go, R2, you're my son.
What? sort of. But I mean, like I said, it doesn't have to be an R2. There's actually 7 astromech series, series. And some of them are the dome, some are R5D4 was in the original Star Wars. He's the red one with the bad motivator, and he had more of a cylindrical head to him. So,
See, I always liked the power droid. That was one of my favorite scenes in Return of the Jedi was when when Jabba's torturing the power droid. What possibly could the power droid have done wrong? And then who in their right mind would have given the power droid sensors on its feet that register pain?
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. It's like, how do you torture a droid? There's no nerve endings there.
Well, you never know. In the future, there might be.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought that was ridiculous. And the fact that the Jabba's door to his palace is a droid itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always thought that was fantastic.
Well, one of my favorite parts was the ability to breathe life into the most inanimate objects. You know, you could do it to the droids fairly easily. You could do it to these no name, no face stormtroopers really easily. I'm trying to think of the artist's name, but there was a photographer who was big into stormtroopers, and he would pose them up and take portraits of the stormtroopers in different things. And because they have no face, you just imagine what their face would look like as they were doing these different things. So, like, one of the scenes was a drum set with a crash cymbal, and one droid was down on its knees, one stormtrooper was down on its knees trying to reach out and save the other stormtrooper that's hanging by a ledge. And the way he just posed him, and he must have kept moving him and posing him until they got him just right, it sucks you in because it looks like, the one's going, and the other one's going, I mean, it's just amazing. This guy was just absolutely amazing with these toys. I mean, and that's the size scale it is, but it just sucks you into this universe of stormtrooper toys.
And part of that was because of the actors they had in London when they shot Star Wars originally. When they had somebody in the R2 unit, right? And that guy was a puppeteer. And so he was getting bored in there. So whenever he would have to do what the script said, he would be adding a little bit of attitude into R2. And so they kept that. And so now you've got this establishment of your first 2 droids playing off of each other, because what else are they going to do? Right? They're bored.
Yeah, Laurel and Hardy.
Exactly. And now all of a sudden you've got this character. These droids all have characters. And so now the rest of the droids get to have them too, because it's not that hard to add a little bit in there, especially when you bring in Jim Henson and his crew for the episodes 5 and 6.
Right.
But,
that was always the amazing thing, that the sharing of knowledge and abilities between cross-gender or cross-genre. Sorry, did I say gender?
Cross-genre.
That's a whole different show, people.
I'm sorry, let me try that one again. Hi, welcome to Tech Talk Live. I'm just a little confused. I'm sorry. Anyway, but taking the puppets and the Muppets and mashing them together with Star Wars, you would never think that would actually ever happen, but that's what happened. I mean, the sharing of knowledge in the industry and the sharing on projects, I think, was one of the biggest things that the Star Wars universe has seen to make it grow and to make it what it is today. You see all these different authors like Tim Lebbon, the comic book series, the Clone Wars series, the original George Lucas written scripts and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, there's just so much collaboration. I think that's one of the reasons why the Star Wars series is so successful, and I'm hoping that as they go forward, they're going to continue to keep that collaboration and keep the fans in mind and kind of make 7, 8, 9 absolutely amazing. I mean, if they finish off the series and it is absolutely amazing, I'd be good.
One thing about the original series being smack dab in the middle is the prequels are CGI Yoda and stuff, and there's definitely a look and feel to that. And then you go 4, 5, and 6, where it's obviously more animatronic and Muppet and stuff. And then I'm assuming 7, 8, 9 are going to go back to CGI. So to watch a marathon in that order, it might take away from the overall feel of it. I don't know.
Well, we were talking about that whole technology piece behind it, and I think in my opinion, I think George Lucas really goofed up by doing 4, 5, and 6 first.
Yeah.
I really think he should have probably started with 1, 2, and 3, done it with that technology as it come up through, because that way, as the technology, the CGI evolves, you're getting a little better each time, and you're not getting this jump around kind of technological woof, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, they did go back on the Blu-ray and the DVD versions of 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, yeah, they did a lot of touch-up stuff.
Touch-up stuff and everything else, but it still had that 1970s, 1980s effects look, you know?
Although, I'm sorry, but as a purist like Peter, hand shot only.
Oh, I know. It was absolutely
Not even
amazing.
first, hand shot only, and that's the way it should be.
He's a pirate.
He's a scoundrel for a reason, people.
Good point. Good point. But, you know, like I said, I don't know. I think that's the only thing about the whole series that worries me, is it does take away that magic.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I went and saw it in the theaters with my parents. I was only 3. I was scared to death, or 4, whatever I was. I was scared to death of it because of the noise and everything else. But when we watched it at home on the video, it just sucks you in, you know? And it's just, like I said, I really think the big thing is the storytelling. Storytelling in 4, 5, and 6 was excellent. 1, 2, and 3, the storytelling was excellent, but it was distracted by all the computer generated stuff. They could add environments that were busy. They could make it look like the Star Wars universe, you know?
Yeah.
Like when Skywalker was Anakin was he jumps out, and number 2, I believe it is, he jumps out of the speeder car in the middle of rush hour, and, you know, tells Obi-Wan, "I'll be right back," and jumps off and falls, you know, just because of his premonition, falls into another car so he can get to point A to point B to point C, right? That whole scene is just overly busy, that you don't get sucked in as much to the character of Anakin being this superhuman Jedi that just gone, and he's going to be where he needs to be when he needs to be there. You know, it's just too busy, I think, is what it was.
See, and that scene you're talking about, where is the chase scene to catch Zam Wessel?
Yep.
How does Obi-Wan not sense? I mean, he's the teacher. He's the one in the moment and in the now, and that is set up by Qui-Gon Jinn in the movie before it, that, you know, that's how his mind is working. So why does Anakin see it and he doesn't? That always kind of played at me. Like, I think they cut Obi-Wan short.
What, his lightsaber wasn't as big as Anakin's, or what?
Well, at least he could keep his hands on his lightsaber. Anakin always lost his.
Great. Oh, look out. It's detachable. Look out. Holy cow. I'm sorry. I took that in totally a bad direction.
I was right with you in that same direction. Like, where's he? Oh, no.
I don't know. You know, I always thought, you know, if you ever... speaking about, like, games and stuff, I'm a big gamer. You know I'm a big gamer. If you haven't played The Force Unleashed, you got to go play it. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, I don't know if you guys have played it yet or not or what, but, I mean, it puts you into this character called Star Destroyer, and he is Darth Vader's apprentice, basically. He's an orphan. Darth Vader makes him an orphan, finds out that he has the Force powers, and trains him. The entire trip through his bringing up or development of the character.
Is this the storyline of Galen Merrick, the Star Killer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I know the story.
Okay. Well, they made games off of it called The Force Unleashed, and there's Unleashed 1 and Unleashed 2. I don't know if it follows the stories exactly because I didn't read those stories, but I got the games. And I think that's one of the disappointments that I have right now being a gamer. You know, with LucasArts now disbanded, basically.
Yeah.
You know, and Disney's just going to hold the rights to the franchise. I'm wondering if we're ever going to have really, truly Star Wars-y games anymore. You know, I mean, it worries me because, I mean, Star Wars is not 100% family friendly. You get shot with a blaster, you get an arm cut off. You know, it's very possible to have a little bit darker sensation to those games. And like The Force Unleashed is amazing because you can develop your powers both directions. You can develop as light powers or dark powers as you learn. And you got amazing lightsaber battles. And It's just, if you haven't played it, go get it. The Force Unleashed is amazing. There's so many other LucasArts games out there. I don't know if you remember the Day of the Tentacle. That was a very famous IBM game. It featured a bunch of kids going through like Maniac Mansion. Do you remember Maniac Mansion?
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Oh wow! I gotta get. Not only do we gotta get you in Star Wars.
I'm a tabletop gamer.
I'm a video gamer.
I'm dice and pencils and paper. Computers. I mean, yeah, I had an Apple IIe when I was in school, but
so you had the Haley's Comet game.
I had all sorts. I had what was it, Spy Hunter on there?
Yeah, that was a good one.
I'm trying to think. There was like a Mortal Kombat feeling type of game.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one I played the most was called Taipan, and that wasn't a video game so much as you're sending out your ships and you're trying to. It was more role playing ish, I guess.
Role play dice, yeah, rolling, kind of thing. Well, I don't know. I'll have to boot it up before you guys leave so I can show you the beginning of it. It's amazing, but definitely. But I mean, LucasArts actually produced a ton of games. Full Throttle was another good game. It had the George Lucas feel to it, the storytelling feel to it, but it was an adventure game about a motorcycle rider. Leather jacket, slick back hair, big glasses, no helmet,
So it belonged more to American Graffiti than Star Wars?
Pretty much. But I'm just saying, I mean, that whole thing is really disappointing to me that...
You do know that's how George Lucas started, right?
What?
He was a race car driver.
Oh, was he?
Got into an accident, became a racing journalist, started making documentaries, turned into eventually Star Wars.
Nice.
But yeah, he's a motorhead at heart.
Well, that works.
Hence, you have all the race scenes in pretty much every movie of some sort.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a dedication to George.
Well, I mean, it's dedication to himself because he maintained huge editorial control over everything, which, in the end, turned out really well because that means anything you buy that's Star Wars related is truly Star Wars related.
Right.
There's no the canon stays canon, and you don't have to worry about conflicts sort of creeping into the storyline from different materials.
Right.
You get that in other genres, though.
Lately I've seen pictures of toys coming out, and it's like Mater from the animated movie Cars done up as Darth Vader, or they have the Sarlacc pit skiff and everything, but it's Mickey, Minnie, Goofy. I'm starting to wonder if that's gonna start just messing things up.
I think it is. I personally think Disney should keep the Star Wars universe Star Wars. I'm not as much as I like Angry Birds Star Wars, I think it's a wonderfully themed game. It's kind of fun, it's kind of interesting. They didn't stray from the storyline. It's still about Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia, and they themed the birds around that. And some of the scenes in there that you're destroying the pigs in are literally from the movie. You can see that they redesigned it from the movie. And the physics are all there and the same. I just don't see. I hope, no matter how Disney pans this out, I hope that they figure out that I really think Star Wars should be its own
separate entity.
Yeah, don't try to bring Mickey and Minnie into it. Don't try to bring. I mean, okay, fine, an offshoot of maybe like some posters of Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy and all them posing as Star Wars, cosplaying. Okay, fine. I just don't think a mix of the universes are going to work well.
Well, I mean, they've always done a Star Wars weekend at Disney and stuff, and actually they're doing some special stuff today.
Yep.
Special events for Star Wars, but they may have incorporated Star Wars into Disneyland, but Star Wars should have never taken Disney, and it should never take Disney into the movies and the universe.
Yes, I agree. Anyway, we're just about at the end of the show, guys. Anything you want to add?
Already?
Yeah, it's only an hour show. Goes quick, doesn't it?
I know. So, especially when you're talking about such great things like Star Wars.
Right. Well, you're more Star Trek, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah,
a little bit more.
I've been big on Voyager lately. I'm rewatching the entire series on Amazon.
I started watching Defiance on Sci-Fi.
Yeah?
That's actually, I think that's got a lot of.
Is that a
potential.
Star Trek universe?
It's
kind of thing?
neither.
No,
it's
its
a
own.
dark future type thing, it's a video game and a TV show together. Yeah, the concept behind it's pretty cool, and things that people do in the video game could affect the future of the TV show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. You should read up on that and
I'll
maybe
have
catch
to.
an episode or two. I've been enjoying it.
Well, amazing. That sounds fun. That sounds good. So, anything you want to add? What a favorite character, Peter?
Favorite character?
In Star Wars.
Oh, in Star Wars. Oh, crap.
David.
The power droid from the tortured power droid.
The tortured power droid.
I've always considered, I mean, I'm a retired Army. I've always considered myself a stormtrooper at heart. I mean, I'm the soldier. I'm a good soldier. I go, I do what I'm told, and Darth Vader is my lord and master.
Interesting. Wow. I suppose I got to ask myself the same question, don't I?
Yes, Phil. What's your favorite character in Star
Please,
Wars?
do tell us.
I don't know. I really think I always envisioned myself as either Chewbacca or Han Solo. You know, I just had always that kind of teeter-tottering on the rebel side, you know, switch kind of sides when I need to switch sides, get out of tight spots. And my favorite scene has still got to be, you know, Han Solo in the middle of the tavern there and just blast, what's his name there? Greedo, yeah. And just be like, oh, yeah. See ya. Okay. Guess what? Your spleen's on the wall now. Have a nice time. So, but yeah, that was my favorite. And I know, I think, I forget who it was that was telling me about the Ewoks. They were everybody's like, oh, the Ewoks are the best. And it's like, I suppose they were. I mean, in Return of the Jedi, they were such a main character, but they weren't. You know, they were just kind of all the extras happening.
Well, I mean,
but they were key to the entire movie.
Yeah.
So I mean, they really were a key element.
An army of little teddy bears.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't it great? Oh my God! It was like Chewbacca had children. It was like wonderful.
And everybody complains about Jar Jar, but the adults are complaining about Jar Jar. The kids loved Jar Jar. And you have to draw them in at some point.
Right. That does bring me back to a song parody I heard the other day. Misa so horny.
Oh no.
Two Live Crew redone. I thought it was funnier that it was Jar Jar Binks. You know, the funny thing about Jar Jar, I think the biggest thing is I didn't mind him so much. I mean, he was a very animated character, kind of brought you back to the cartoony thought process of what Star Wars kind of was in a sense. I think the big thing that irritated me with Jar Jar was the lack of intelligence. I mean, it wasn't. They weren't. The Gundams were not
stupid.
Yeah. Okay, they were warrior-like race, and Jar Jar was just dumber than a box of rocks. You know.
Yeah.
Especially when he's sitting there working on the land speeder with Anakin, and he sticks his head between the coupler, and you know, that's just. I'm just like, but that was what was irritating.
They bring him back in episode 2 and make him senator.
Right.
What?
Yeah, that is kind of strange. And Darth Sidious, I didn't know this until the other night. I didn't realize Darth Sidious was from Naboo.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And the senator himself was the original emperor from Return of the Jedi. The same actor.
Well, I know it's the same actor, but I just couldn't believe.
Fantastic. They were able to keep him going on that.
Mm-hmm.
And he just died recently too, did I read that?
I know Admiral Mahdi died recently. He was 66, I think.
Yes.
I mean, he got force choked by Vader so long ago. You'd think he would have expired before now, but
and he was right. That was the scary part.
Yeah, he was
twice.
I don't know, guys. That's funny. Are you guys ready to head out?
Ready if you are.
You guys are. I love having you guys on. This
I
is
could
great.
do this all day. So.
I know, right? We'd be here until 7 o'clock tonight. Going. I could just hear B now. She'd be yelling out, "Dinner's ready! Come on, you nerds, let's go!" It's all good. Anyway, you've been listening to Tech Talk Live. I'm Flipper.
I'm Peter.
I'm Dave.
And we're on every Saturday morning, 11 to 12. here on fingerlakes1.com, fingerlakes1.tv. You can also go check us out on our website, ttlny.com, and you can download this show and any other shows. Thank you for coming on, guys, to the International Star Wars Day, May 4th. It's been a great annual event. We did one last year. We're going to do this one this year, and now hopefully we'll continue to do an annual event every year and do something fun.
I'm in if you'll have me.
I would love
Same
to have
here.
you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And make sure that to get out there and watch some Star Wars. And if you get a chance to make a droid, make a droid. We're out of here. Whoops! Oh look, I forgot I forgot to redo the outro. Anyway, you're just gonna watch us kind of bob our heads for a little while. Have a great day. We're out of here. See ya.
You've been listening to your technology talk show. Tune in next time to Tech Talk Live.